descriptions, link in there. Okay, so usually we do this workshop every other week, our clinic, which is a kind of just some extra information for our patients about how to build a stronger spine, how to be even stronger, how to manage it, how to talk too much today. How to manage their pain management or joint related issues. Okay, so as we go along with the workshop, you can feel free to put your question in between there. So I have my clinic manager on the side if there's any question, because I won't be so much tuning into the questions, but I will have my clinic manager on the side. If there's any questions or not, she will prompt me. Okay, so very good. Prompt me with that. Okay, so she will prompt me to answer you guys. Okay, thank you for coming, Caroline. Thank you for joining in. Okay, how many of you guys are still watching? If you like, make sure you can share the live with on your social media. Nikki, thank you for coming in. Angie, thank you for coming in. Meg, thank you for coming in. Anyone? Yeah. Okay, thank you for coming in. Okay. Someone with a Gmail address, thank you for coming in. So we're gonna do the workshop very soon. Okay.
No, for YouTube.
For YouTube. So you can making sure give the like. So you can tap on the screen and give the like. Right now, so okay, you make sure you say hi. Make sure you tap the screen. Yeah. Give the like. Okay. All right. So before we start, we're gonna try something a little different. So how about let's get to about 50 hearts before we start the workshop. So everybody go tight. Let's go have 50 starts in the workshop. Okay? Okay, then this is TikTok? TikTok, okay. Yeah. I cannot see anything here. Okay, there. Okay, yeah. Good. Okay, give us okay, we're getting there. Or we'll start once we get about 50 hearts. Okay, keep going, everyone. Come on. Let's go. All right. Thank you for liking that. Okay. Good. All right. Can you guys see? Okay. I'll adjust it a bit. Here. Yes. Can you guys see? Okay, with the workshop. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Great. Let me adjust. Thank you for the heart. Thank you. Just gonna adjust the a bit more. Thank you for the heart. I'm gonna hit that 10 hearts very soon. Thank you. Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you so much. Come on. Let's keep going. If you have any questions, you can leave the link in between there. Okay. Very good. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for coming in for the workshop. Okay. This is something we do about every other week in the clinic. Basically, we just want to give a little more information. About what we do. Okay. Or what we do. I'm pretty sure I can show you. I can show you what we do first. Okay, here. So this is what a typical chiropractic adjustment looks like. Here's the model. So we have these. This is our vertebrae segments in here. So basically, what happens is whenever if you're slouching or not having good postures, usually your spine will be bit fix it, meaning like no mobility is not very good. So basically, as a chiropractor, we're making sure you have a better mobility in the joint. Okay. Okay, coming in. Thank you for joining. Okay. You can make sure to share the live. Okay, everyone, make sure to share the live. Then we can start the workshop. Okay, make sure you share the live. Okay, also the joint here. Okay. So basically, we're making sure the joint has better mobilities. So whenever you go work out or you're thank you for the light. Thank you for the light. You can have a better performance. Either if you seek chiropractic care as a way for you to train better, or you seek chiropractic care as a way to manage your pain, which we'll talk about in today's workshop. But before we start, okay, can we get everybody just try to interact a little bit more? So maybe you can make sure you share the live sessions and making sure to get the heart. Okay? Thank you for the heart. Okay. Let's see, how many of you guys are still watching? Okay. We are located at 116 Lavender Street, 0102. We are on the City French. So the nearest MRT to reach to us is Bendemeer MRT or the Lavender MRT. So we're just right outside of city center. So we're specialized in pain management, and we are a chiropractic clinic. We are a chiropractic clinic, but we also offering very comprehensive treatment approach regarding of managing the joint pain, such as we have a chiropractic adjustments. You can see it right here, which is for joint mobilities and also improve your overall nervous system as well. So as a chiropractor, we look for what is called misalignments or imbalance in the spine. Now by adjusting that, the patient will have better mobility, but obviously pain will be less. But the most important thing is we want to address the imbalance, the misalignments in the spine. Then the patient can have better function in their nervous system, because nervous system is control our entire body. Okay, so this is what a typical chiropractic adjustment look like. In our clinic, we also have joint links. Joint links are usually for release of muscle tensions. It's great for people who are wanting some kind of a recovery routine, such as if you constantly go for like weight training, triathlon, all these things, you might want to incorporate some kind of recovery routine with it. So there's a few options. If you are working out quite a lot, a few options such as you can put a joint link. Some people go for the cold cryotherapy or cold bath. Basically, is after your workout, you dump yourself in a cold bath to cool down your body. People do that, or it's a way to kind of like stimulate your nervous system in the morning. All these you can incorporate that. It's even with very highly competitive athletes, or even consider like oxygen chamber training, which is force yourself to produce more red blood cells. Red blood cell carries oxygen in your entire body, so more red blood cell means more oxygen for your entire body, and your body can function faster. So if you run faster, your endurance can be much better than other people, and just overall your performance can improve. So we always recommend patients who are active to have some kind of recovery routine. Not just I train, I work out, then that's it. And if you want to make your training a bit part of your lifestyle, you can see yourself training and exercising for a long period of times, you will need to have some kind of recovery routine. So for the recovery routines, there's a few options. Chiropractic adjustment is one of it. The joint healings helping to alleviate those muscle tensions or even just muscle spasms. It's very, very effective. We also have sports therapists on site, which is what can do manual therapies to release tensions and lymphatic drainage. Again, like just really, really good recoveries for your bodies. And we also have the spinal decompression therapy, which will help treat the disc-related issues. Because when it comes to, is the osteopath similar? I think we are someone who has answered the question as is osteopath similar to chiro. I think we are very different in a way because I think the osteopath is focused on other joints as well. As a chiropractor, our main concern is the spine. Okay, why is that? So our body has so many bones and muscles. Why we only focus on spine? Okay, so in my hand, this is a spine model. Okay, you can see right here. This is the hold on the side. So this is the front. This is the back. You're looking at it from the side. So inside of the spine, because right here you can see, is what we call part of central nervous system. So on the top is the brain, then you have spinal cord, go through the entire spine, and you have the spinal nerve right here to exit from the spine. So as a chiropractor, we're working very closely with the nervous system because if the joint has a misalignment or impinge on the nerve, the nervous system will be interferent. A nervous system controls everything in your body, such as respiratory, digestion, circulatory, hormones, all these things. So our goal is making sure the nervous system is working properly. So that's why we really focus on the spine, because the spine is the first line of defense in regarding to protecting the nervous system. Okay. If I got back pain, which is suitable, I think you need to find out what's the reason, like what causes your back pain. Is a lack of exercise causing your back pain, or is you have an injury or it causes back pain, or is something chronic, is acute, does have numbness, tingling, tension, whatnot. So with all this profession, they all have a specific approach. Like physios, they focus on more of muscle rehabilitations, and the chiropractor will focus on the spine, which is the lumbar part of the back, and osteopaths perhaps the extremity joints like your elbow, wrist, other joints as well. So really depends on what is the cause of your back pain. Is it because you sit in front of computer for a long period of time? Is it because your sports injuries, you have something happen to your back, you hurt yourself? Or is lack of exercise, like sedentary lifestyle? That is one of the main cause for back pain as well. Okay, very good. I hope that answered our questions. Now we can go ahead. Thank you for following us, making sure you're like the live and making sure you share the live. Okay? Very good, very good. Thank you, Angie, thank you for joining in. Okay, let me see real quick. Okay, so we're gonna go start the workshop very soon. Okay, let me. Okay, are you guys ready? So if you are doing something where you're watching, it's fine. You can just tune in, listen in. Okay, so don't try to jump off because we're gonna start the workshop very soon. So if you jump off and come back, you might not know what's going on. Okay, so it's good to just stay on and have in the background if you really wanna perhaps use your times more wisely and learn something this afternoon. Okay, so you can have it on the background. It's fine, and you can tune in. And if there are any questions, you can put in, and I will try to answer your questions by the end of the workshop. Okay? Okay. Also, making sure you can share today's live. If you have anyone who might find this information useful, please go ahead and share the live session with them. Okay. All right. Very good. So I hope you guys can see. So if you cannot see, you can find out more about. You can just follow us. Making sure you're near us. Make sure you follow us. You follow us on a TikTok account. Making sure you follow us on a TikTok account so you won't miss. We actually provide a lot of free information on our TikTok account. So making sure you do check it out. And if you have any questions, you can just click the link above. We do have a bio link in there, so you can get connected to us through our link tree. There's a WhatsApp number in there as well, so you can go check it out. Okay, boys and girls, are you ready? Okay. All right, very, very good. Okay. Thank you so much for joining in. Please join in and making sure you can tap me in the background if you're doing something else. So at least you'll use your time wisely to learn something a little bit different. Okay, so we're live from our chiropractic clinic. We've been in Singapore. The clinic has been in Singapore about 9 years. The clinic has me and Dr. Jeff. We also have a therapist, Miss Diana, on site. So we've been running this clinic about 9 years. Experiencing wise, all of us together, if you want to combine everybody's experience, I think we're about 50 years. Because me and Dr. Jeff were about 10 plus years experience. Miss Diana about 20 years of experience as a manual therapist. So our patients who have gone through your clinic are really in good hands because they're taken care of by very experienced chiropractors. Okay. Okay, a little bit about us. Like what I mentioned, more than 10 years of experience here in Singapore, and if you can see that, okay, 10 years in Singapore. So we have multiple type of treatments available. We have the chiropractic adjustments right here. We also have the manual therapies, which is the manual therapies we So we have the chiropractic adjustments. We have the chiropractic adjustments. We also have the manual therapies, which done by Miss Diana with 20 years experience to work on muscle tension, muscle soreness here, and also health consultation. Over the years, since we really focus on educating the public about what we do, obviously, we also get quite a bit of media attention. So this is the collage of media attentions, media invites we have done for the clinic, such as Capital 95A, CNA, local newspaper, Straits Times, as well as other radio stations. So we are trying to be the expert in regarding chiropractic in Singapore, just to share the public our experience and yeah. Okay, so a little bit about how we approaching. How do we approach with the chiropractic adjustment? We have a multiple way of approaching it, such as chiropractic adjustment, spinal decompression therapy, joint healing, manual therapy, and also other type of modalities. So we are trying to use a very comprehensive treatment approach when it comes to managing the spine. So why is that? So if you look at here, in my hand is a spine model right here. So between this joint, you have the disc, which is this red thing over here. Also the nerve exiting from the spine, and nerve system. So around the joint, you'll have muscle on both sides. So let's say there is a problem in this structure of the body. It can be your neck, it can be your back. Okay. Let's say you have a issue. You have a issue in your neck or your back, for example. So instead of just treating maybe the joint, we try to go with a very more comprehensive approach, such as maybe address this issue is where we're using the spinal decompression therapy. If you want to get someone to see, I can show that to you guys later. We're going to use the spinal decompression therapy, this one. Also, the chiropractic adjustment, working on the joint, okay? And nerves, if there's any nerve impingement or not, adjustment is quite effective regarding of treating impingement. And when it comes to muscle issues, we have a couple approach, such as joint healing or manual therapy. So as you can see, when it comes to taking care of the spine, we have a multiple approach to address each specific problem. So it's a very comprehensive, holistic way of dealing with pain. So why we're doing this? So we always take the joy of sharing the information to the public, to educating more people about chiropractic. I think over the times, more and more people are either seeing what chiropractic is, try chiropractic, or have been a chiropractic patient. Because in the last 5 years, I would say the industry in Singapore has become more and more accepted and more and more popular. So yeah, so there are many types of chiropractor on the market, many types of chiropractor you can go to. So we were trying to be the one that can give you extra information, more insight, so you can choose the right and suitable chiropractor for your pain management. Okay, so this is going to be something you might not notice before. Okay, so yeah, 80% of Singaporeans were experiencing low back pain. So this stat is by MOH. Due to many reasons, such as we are in a very technology-driven society. Also, people do spend too much time in front of a computer or on their handphone. So when they do that, you're actually creating a way more stress in your lower back. So that causing that. So that's number one. Number two is a lack of exercise. So you can look, if you take a look at human being, like how we're designed, is we are designed to explore and be on the movement. But TV, aircon, computer kind of bind us in a very confined area and to be sitting down in a long time. Do you know that your body actually have this natural mechanism that if you haven't moved around or haven't been doing any sort of movement for about 15 to 20 minutes, your brain will perceive you are being asleep. So that's why maybe this had happened to you if you work in front of a computer for a long period of time. After maybe you're done working about 3 to 4 hours, you feel like extremely exhausted. But physically, you haven't really done that much because you're just sitting down. You're not really doing anything physical, but mentally, your body is feeling exhausted. That is because you haven't moved for the last 1 hour or 45 minutes, so your brain perceiving you're asleep. So what happens if your brain perceiving you're asleep? If your brain perceiving you're asleep, the brain will secrete the hormones to induce, to go ahead, to push the action of being asleep. So we're slowly shutting down certain part of the function, because when we sleep, certain part of our body function is putting on pause, so we can focus on more of a recovery body. Okay, so that's why if you sit in front of the computer for a long period of time, you actually can feel more physical drain than actually just do something physical. It's because your brain perceiving you're in sleep, and this is one of the reasons more people are having back pain nowadays is lack of exercise, lack of movement, and be confined in a small space. Okay, so there is, hopefully I can get to this here. Okay, so there's 77% of people are getting back pain because of these 3 reasons. Okay, so this covers 77% of chance you're getting the back pain. Number 1 is lifting object in an incorrect way. Number 2 is bad posture at the workplace. And number 3 is lifting heavy things with the bad posture. So all these things can actually contribute your back injuries. So when we lift something, let's say something big heavy, usually most of people will try to lift with our legs, but I think a lot of us, we just try to lift with the back. If you talk about anatomy-wise, the human body, your leg muscle is much stronger than your back muscle, because it just depends on how layered the muscle group. So all these, your leg, you're supposed to lift with your leg rather than your back. And that's one of the common cause for low back pain. Talking about the awkward working positions, you're sitting in front of a computer for a long period of time without moving around, without doing things, and yes, definitely that issue. And also lifting heavy object with incorrect postures. All these are common. But maybe we are not living in a more labor-intensive environment. So what we do is maybe when you are at the gym, you're trying to lifting weight. It's just any other day, you're not going anything extra than what you're supposed to do. You're just kind of moving and lifting your normal weight. Then you heard a pop, or you heard something didn't go right, then you have the pain. So why is that? I am active, I am working out, I'm trying to build a stronger core muscles. Why I still have injury? Few things. Number one is how much mobility do you have in your joint to begin with? A lot of us actually don't stretch when. Got a question? No. No.
I thought back pain would be suitable. Oh no, that was earlier one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your joint,
If I got back pain, which is suitable? Chiro, physio, or osteo?
Okay, I think we answered that.
We answered that already.
Yeah.
He repeated his question.
Okay. So it really depends on, it's really, if you never stretch when you go for a workout, your muscle and joint is already stiff, then you work out on top of that. Obviously, you set yourself up for failure, for injuries. So that's number one. Number two is, if there's some potential issue to begin with, let's say there's old injuries you will never get resolved when you were younger, or previous sports injury never get resolved, then you do more exercise or more this, more that. On top of that, obviously your chance of injury is really, really high. So that's number two. Number three is a lot of times we thought about, okay, I'm just gonna go work out. I'm going to try to maybe push a little harder, but we never really have a recovery routine. So by recovery routine, that's what we talked about earlier, is what is your recovery routine? Is it sleep? Is it cardiac adjustment? Is it treatment? Is a muscle release? Is a cold, hot therapy? Do you take anything for muscle release? If you never have any sort of a recovery routine or recovery plan, and if you want it to be active for long period of times, how does it set the balance in here? So you're pushing yourself for more and more, but you never give your body or time to recover. So you're always here. So you keep pushing yourself higher and higher, but your recovery never catch up with how much you're training your body. Obviously, you will set yourself for injuries. In fact, in that case, this push. I am training harder, but my recovery is like here. With that gap in between, your chance of the injury is really, really high. In fact, yeah. Okay. So how do we solve these problems? Like, I'm working out or I'm sitting in front of a computer for a long period of time. I am experiencing all these issues. How do I solve the problem? So how do I solve the problem? So should you be taking more exercise, okay? Or should you be eating more supplements or more rest? Would that be the solutions to resolving the chronic pains? I think most of people will definitely fall for all three of them, or at least one of them. Most of us will go for this round of supplementations, like, okay, maybe I'll take a pill or something that will give me better. Yeah, not saying supplement is bad. Yes, it is. You can definitely get some help from taking some medications, but if we don't address the core issues, no matter how much of this you're doing, you will still set yourself up for failure. So if we don't understand the basic structure of the human bodies, how do you protect your back and your body. So, so in the next segment, I will dig deeper into the human structure, the basic logic, basic functions of a human body. So if we can understand how our body, the basic logic behind how our bodies move, how our spine is developed, so then you have a better idea how to protect yourself. I mean, actually, when you understand the basic logic behind it, what to do next, it seems pretty straightforward and easy. Okay, so making sure you're tuning in. Okay, you can go ahead, make sure you hit live, like the live, and share it live. Let me see if I can bring a little bit closer. Okay. Okay, you guys see okay? Yeah. Let's see. So let's talk about since birth. Since birth, when the baby was born, how long does it take for it to learn to stand up? Usually it's about 10 months. For the first 6 months, the baby usually just lay on the back, and maybe by the 6 months can turn. So usually around 7 to 10 months, will start to crawl. Why is that? Why can they just start standing first? Why they need to be crawling the beginning? That's the first stage, but not standing. Right? Obviously, as parents, you always want them to go a bit faster, but there is actually a simple logic behind that. So now I'm going to share with you what that is. So when the baby is born, the spine is actually quite flexible. For many reasons, it's assists during the birthing process. If your spine is already fully developed, the birthing process is going to be extremely dangerous for the mom and the baby. So that's why when you're born, as a baby, your spine is pretty flexible. So when you start to lift your head up, that's where you'll develop your first physiological curvatures for your spine, which is the neck. It's right here. So this is the neck curvature right here. So this is your first physiological curvatures. You developing that by lifting your head up. That's why the crawling is the first stage of mobility. Okay. Then, when you're able to stand, when the baby starts to, able to pull himself up, stand, that's where you develop your second curvatures, which is your lumbar curvature, the second physiological curvature here. So once you complete all these movements, what they do, they start walking around, running around, all these. So yeah, so that's why you can develop the proper curvatures in your spine from these 3 simple movements. But as we progress, we're spending more time looking on the computers, or we are not really exercising or not. We are actually putting stressors in your spine and causing that to have unhealthy spinal curvatures. So think so what happens is, if you're hunching so much, you're actually creating more curvature in here. Or if you're looking down all the times, you're actually reducing your neck curvatures. Remember in the beginning what we said is, okay, so you have the central nervous system inside your spine. if there's something wrong with the spine, which is protecting the central nervous system, what will happen to the nervous system? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put this one a bit further because now we're gonna go to a bit of a demonstration. So, and you guys need to be a bit further in order to see me. Okay. So, am I big enough in the screen? Okay. So here we're gonna do 3 simple exercises to try to reverse that damage on your spinal curvature. You know, if you're looking down on your computer for a period of times, or you're hunching forward all the time, you will creating your posture like this. So we'll do the better way, do it like this. So we're gonna do something to reverse that process to be more straightforward. Okay. So the first one, okay, we cannot see something a bit more straightforward. So first one is for the neck. You can see, or this one. So most of the time, when we looking at a computer for long period of times, we are heads down like this. So what we do is we try to reverse that process to be more straight. This is coming to the first exercise. So if you're watching, I encourage you to follow along rather than just watching. Okay. This exercise can be seated or standing, and you can find whichever position that is suitable for you, and you can be seated or standing for this exercise. Okay, so let's go for the first one. The first one we're going to focus on the neck. In between the exercise, if you have questions, you can leave in here, and also I invite you to share and like. Okay, first one is very simple because we have posture like this, so we wanted to reverse that process. How do you do that? So you're going to use your hand, put behind your neck, and then you're gonna lean back. Okay. So like this way, you're gonna lean back. Now I'm gonna turn on the side. So you can see it. You're gonna lean back. Okay. So you're gonna lean back. So why we're leaning back? So we're trying to reverse this to more of a neutral position. So this is exercise number 1. So exercise number 2, again, this exercise, you can be seated or standing, it's really up to you. If you have a really, really stiff neck, just tilting a little bit back is already very difficult for you, okay? So now let's move to the second one. So when we hunch, our chest usually tend to go forward like this. So that's why people have shoulder issues. A lot of people say, oh, I have shoulder issues, probably like my rotator cuff. But before you're drawing a conclusion to your shoulder problems, is it because ligament or muscle? How is your posture? So if we stand normally, if I have hypermobility, yes, you still can do chiropractic adjustment if you have hypermobilities. In fact, it will help you with mobilities because hypermobility usually due to the fact is, maybe I can explain with the model. Hypermobility due to the fact is, so this is our spine. You move as a Lego. We just use that analogy. If you have fixation in here, in order for the spine to complete the entire movement, you will have to make the segment above more movable to pick up the slack, or the segment below more movable to pick up the slack. So, let's say, in a normal situation, a joint mobility is about 100%. You have a fixation here, your joint on the top have to move extra 20%, or joint below have to move extra 20%. So that's where the hypermobility is. Hypermobility is indication is you have fixations in your spine. My joints subluxated a lot, it hurts so much. Is it because you're not moving properly? So your joint have to pick up the slack. You have 24 body in your team, but only half of them are working properly. What do you think the other, although the other half is not functioning 100%, so the rest have to pick up the slack. Obviously, they are overworked, and because of this environment of excessive, digital device or not. So besides overwork, you have additional stress on top of it. And that's where the pain comes from. Okay. So when it comes to pain management, you always have to look into what's the reason behind it. Okay. Is your body already working beyond what it's capable of? Are you solving the problem so that all the joints are moving in the normal range of motions? So no joints will have to work extra to compensate with the mobilities. Once you solve that problems, your muscle and soft tissue around it will work a lot better, and that will reduce your ache and pain. I think reducing ache and pain is probably like a first sign, let's see, but most importantly is you have better mobilities, and you are minimizing yourself from chronic joint-related problem. You minimize yourself with sports injuries, and then also you minimize yourself with nerve system not function 100%. Okay, let's go to the second part of the exercise. Remember, we are hunching like this. So when a person, if they have neutral positions, they usually stand. Okay, let me see if I can. Correct. Usually stand like this. So if you can see my hand, if your shoulders are level aligned, your hand is usually this way. So your thumb is forward. So if you also can check yourself in the mirror, just kind of like walk in space, and you're sitting here, and you're sitting as a normally. So your thumb forward. For someone who has a hunch issues, they usually have rotations in the shoulder. So they actually rotate the shoulder forward. So instead of thumb in the front, you can actually see more of the dorsal side of your hands, your outside of hands more. So if you're seeing outside of the hands more, so that means you have what called internal rotation to the shoulders. So this, over long period of times, can cause shoulder pains, frozen shoulder-related chronic pain problem. So today we're gonna try this one exercise to improve this problem. So what you do is both hands interlace behind, and you're gonna pull back. If you have a chair, you can grab to the chair. If you don't have a chair, you just pull back. Okay, so once you pull back, you should feel a squeeze between your shoulder blade and a stretch in the front. So this is where you're supposed to feel. Okay, right now. So really open up that chest and squeeze that shoulder blade. That's the most important part. Okay. For some people, just by able to interlace the hands, this is already a difficult position, which is fine. You can continue to exercise to improve your mobility, to stretch. Remember, muscle is like a rubber band. You can stretch, you can release, but you have to give its opportunity to stretch and release in the first place. Okay? So interlace, back, release the tension here, and stretch in the back. So this is number 2. Okay. Number 3 is, again, you're hunching forward, your body is this way. Body is this way. So your back lost that curvature, so you go this way. So we're going to do something to improve that curvature. So what you do, take over both hands, put them on the base of your hip, and the hand's going to push forward, and you're going to lean back. So you push forward, and you're going to lean back. Okay. So while you do that, you're trying to restore that curvature in your lower back. Okay. So for some people, slightly leaning back is already difficult. So that means you already have quite a restrictions in your lower back, and your lower back muscle is not working properly. So that way, you're not really working. There is this condition called facet syndromes. this is so the facet syndrome is basically a problem in here. So where the upper the vertebra connect to the second one, there usually is a facet in here. So sometimes this can be seriously damaged. It can do chronic pain, injuries, whatever the case may be. So when they're doing this movement, it can be not tight but extremely painful. So this is one of the self-tests you can check whether or not you have what we call facet syndromes. Because if you see how these two segments, how it interlace, by having this is called the facet. So if there's some damage in here, any movement of that will cause more pain. So that's why this movement if it causes more pain. There is a potential issue of facet syndromes in your spine. So let's review what the exercise we just had, okay? So one on the top, interlace your neck, lean back, that's for your neck. For your chest, interlace your hand, pull back, squeeze the shoulder blade, so you should feel a squeeze in here. When you lean back, you will also open up the chest in here, okay? And also, lean back, both hands on the hip, push forward and lean back. If you are experiencing pain, like sharp pains in the back, then there is a chance of a facet syndrome to have. If you are not, you can continue with this. You can continue with this exercise to creating better curvature for the lung. So the spine is kind of like a frame of the body. So if we can take care of it, spine is kind of like a frame of body. So if we can really take care of the spine, then we are actually already so-called fortify our first line of defense. Because every day there is always physical activity. Sitting down, reading book, carrying things, using computer, using digital device. But if we can improve our spine, make it stronger, better integrity, better flexibility, you will actually benefit from your whole body. Because the spine is really the foundation of the foundational frame of the human body. If this is not taken care of, obviously there will be more problems. But how to solve the root of problems? If you solve the spine-related issues, then the other issues will be improved. Any more questions in here? Okay. So I'm going to bring you a little bit closer. So now we're So how does the chiropractic adjustments help with the improve of your spinal curvature? So number one, if your spinal curvature is very bad, like hunchy one is, there's already indication of a joint lack of mobility present. Because your joint's not moving properly, caused by bad postures, so obviously there's going to be pain and joint-related problems. So when it comes to chiropractic adjustments, what we would do is we remove that fixation, and that's how your joint can move a little bit better. So when your joint's a little better, you become more flexible. You're moving a lot better. You're feeling better, you're moving better, no more ache, you can do a lot of things without restrictions. So when you do that, your overall body condition improves. But if you always have the fixations in your spine, you're not moving properly, they're fixated, your body have to work extra harder just to pick up the slack. Just as a previously, the last of you were talking about is, my joint had this hypermobility issues. So because everybody works in a team. If in your company or in your team, half of people are not doing anything, what in order to meet the 100% normal output, the rest of people have to pick up slack. Meaning you have to work harder, you have to do overtime, you have to pick up the work that your colleague decide not to do or constantly calling sick and not be present in the workplace. So same thing with your spine. If your few joints, maybe just 2 or 3 joints are not moving properly, it can significantly damage the output of the entire spine mobilities. So causing other part of your joints working more than usual, more than necessary, increase the wear and tear of the other part joint. So here I will show you what it looks like. Just a second. So in my hands, so I have a relatively healthy joints right here, not so healthy joints in here. Can you see the difference? Healthy one, not so healthy. Maybe I should switch around. So, okay, healthy one, not so healthy ones. Okay, so can you see the difference? So one is the disc is very full, hydrating, very thick, very good. The other one is very thin. So this is the first thing we should see. Secondly, let's just compare the texture. So this one very full, very strong, but this one compressed. Too much weight bearing, too much wear and tears, possible. But this one, nice and taut, standing, very very strong, very good. Now let's take a look at the texture around. Okay, this one, bone spurs, very rough actually. And this one, smooth, no bone spurs. No bone spurs. Okay, see the difference over here? More wear and tear. You could argue like, oh, because people go into arthritis, everybody goes down. True. But if there's a way you can have this, but then this, which one would you want to choose? I think the answer is very obvious. Okay, moving on. Alright, so here's segments. You can go ahead and ask me some questions if you want to. Let's see. Okay, you can ask me some questions if you want to. Scapular nerve, you guys treat, I'm not sure of the area. Scapular is part of the shoulder blade. Is that what you're referring to? Part of the shoulder blades. Actually, a lot of times I think patient may not be anatomical correct. So they said it's scapular issues, but it could be a mid-back issues. So it's like a mid-back, upper back issues. That is along the spine. But have to see where the scapular nerve coming from. So this is the neck. So this is your upper chest. So your scapular nerve is going to be somewhere around here. So if it is a spine-related problems, let's say the spinal nerve is not function properly, it will affect whatever tissue or muscle group around it. So scapula, upper muscle is one of the muscle group around it. So you now need to see, is it the spinal issues or is it mainly extremity issues? From chiropractic perspective, we always want to follow what they call a mechanism chain. So what I mean by that? So let's say, let me go further so I can demonstrate more. So let's say I have a elbow issue right here. Maybe other health provider will say like, okay, maybe you have some ligament problems, joint inflammation. Let's do some ultrasounds, shock wave, acupuncture, whatever the case. Let's treat this first. But from chiropractic perspective, we always want to trace back the mechanism chain, the movement of mechanism. So what I mean by that is, what's the next big joints after your elbow? Shoulders. What is the next big joints after your shoulder? Your neck. Although this pain, this problems, may be 80% of your reason, but if you don't treat this, and don't treat this, you still cannot reach 100% of recovery because you're just only treating the 80% of problems. So whenever the patient walks into a clinic, we always, if they have ankle, a knee, wrist, we always want to trace back where is the chain of a command or mechanism chain of movement. Wrist, what's next joint? Elbow, what is next joint? Shoulder, what is next joint? Your neck. We have to treat everything along the way. You cannot just treat this. If you only want to treat this, your recovery probably only reach about 80, luckily 70, most likely 60, 70%. Maybe locally here it got better, but you cannot deny if you have wrist issues, if you don't go to the next joint, how do you know this is not also contributing problems? So you always need to trace back. What's the next joint? What is next joint? What is next joint? What is next joint? To treat the entire movement of mechanism. Thoughts on people who say chiropractic is pseudoscience? WHO has a clear guideline. I mean, WHO is our standard. If your standard is not WHO, then I can't really argue. WHO stands for World Health Organization. WHO has a clear guideline and definition about what chiropractic is. Internationally, that's the guideline we follow for. I don't know what kind of pseudoscience can follow in WHO guideline. Yeah. So yeah, you can look up. The WHO have a very clear guideline about chiropractic, the effective chiropractic, scope of practice in chiropractic, what does chiropractic stand in the entire healthcare ecosystems, how does it work and improve patients based on years and years of research. So yeah, that's the standard. So for whoever think it's pseudoscience, I would recommend them to check the WHO guidelines rather than come up that whatever dilulu they have in their head. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? Okay. 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 So if you have any question, I will stay on here just to answer anyone who have any final questions here. To find out about what we do, you can go follow us right here. Okay, you can follow us. Let me see. If you have point correct. Yeah, you can follow us right here. We have a lot of information. Can I use the work phone? So I'll show you. Okay. Oh, this one doesn't have TikTok. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Okay, you can also follow us on YouTube. It's right here. Right here, Recaro, Single Pain Solutions, Pain Solutions for Singapore. You can follow us there. On TikTok, you can follow us right here. Okay, here. Don't count the. You have can use your just the TikTok. Okay. Okay. So this is our TikTok account right here. So you can follow us right here. the anterior account right here. So you can actually find a lot of informations in here, how we treat some of the simple stretch for your common problems in here. Okay. Also demonstrating some of the chiropractic adjustment, what it looks like. Some of the stretches we recommend. If you don't know, if you miss the part of demonstrations, you can always go back to our account and look for it. Okay, can also show you what a chiropractic adjustment look like in here, and you can follow us right there. Follow us right there. Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any more questions? Any more questions? Anything else I should talk about it? Oh. Okay, for anyone who is coming in, we do have a sports massage on site. We're offering about $90 for 60 minutes for your first time. So if you're new or never been us before, you can take this promotion of $90 for 60 minutes. Okay. All right. I will take this one out and show you some of this. I'm gonna show you guys around what kind of equipment we have. Okay, just give me a second here. Okay, I'll go turn. Oops. Gonna turn the. How do I turn? I flipped the camera. Okay. Okay. So this is where we just did the line. I'm gonna show you the decompression therapy. So this is our decompression therapy room. This is our decompression. So what you do is you have the patient sitting on top of it, and the decompression we're using the dock system. This one is FDA approved, and the HSA. If you don't know what HSA is, HSA is standing for Health Safety Agency. That is agency, the agency part of the central government to ensure all equipment is up to code, up to safety, and up to standard. So up to standard, what I mean is that if you're saying your machine is doing this, show me the research to support the machine and using the result. So this one is this patient standard. It's a color decompression machine. So usually treat for two type of problems. You can treat for the lower back as well as neck issue. So if you have a neck stenosis or lumbar stenosis or there's any sort of compressions of the joints, you can try the neck decompressions. So you will open up the joint. So, see a better one. So the basic thing is you will create this bulging disc in here. So whenever you stand and put pressure, the disc is bulging and then impinging on the nerve. So what it does is we put on decompression therapy, and we're using really just to show you guys. If you put it on the decompression therapy, you'll try to open up the joint. So you open up the joint. So once you open up joint, you're creating a vacuum effect so the disc can go back and hydrate itself. The decompression therapy actually so far is quite effective. We have patients who have this bulging disc issues by using the decompression therapy, they have getting a good result. And the decompression therapy is suitable for back as well as the neck area. Okay, so this is our decompression room right here. And we do have a clinic cap here, so that's super cool. And this is our waiting room. So we have a 2 treatment room here. So we have the Dr. Jeff's room right here, chiropractic table. A few things we're using. We have quite a few models such as gyro guns. We also have the office stands. These are this one. So what it does, maybe to demonstrate since I don't have extra hands.
That's right here.
Yeah. So how does
So essentially what happens is, utilize this.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? So essentially what happens is, we go right along the spine. This is what it feels like. Okay, so right along the spine helps to loosen up the spine.
Yeah.
Okay. And the musculatures and the ligamentous areas there too, to help ensure that a little bit more flexibility within the spine.
Okay. So we have the outer stems right here. Okay. We do use dry needling here as well. So we have needles. Probably shouldn't show you guys. Some people get a bit scared. So we do a dry needling. So we have the room right here. We do see kids as well as your mom. And then we have the second room. Yeah, so we have 2 different. So this is the Dr. Jeff room. Then moving back, all these are the competitions. Both our chiropractors done over the years. You guys can see. So why we're treating so much sports-related injuries, because I have to say we have compete and train very, very hard for the game, for the sports as well. So right here. Then we have the other rooms here, X-ray box, and in the back will be the vaccine. Then we have Luciana room where our therapist is. Okay. So we are located at 116 Lavender Street. So you guys can check it out. And making sure you follow us. Making sure you follow us right here. Is there any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Am I mirrored? Okay, so if there's no more questions, I will end the live here. Making sure if you want to have more questions or you find out about what we do, you can go follow us right here. Just click the link right here. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Are you?
You sure?